As a CEO or senior executive, your performance is amplified or limited by the team you lead with. Fewer teams in your organization will likely have as much impact, influence, or at stake than your senior leadership team. Even the most visionary strategy, the best strategy you've ever developed, will fall flat if your team isn't firing on all cylinders. And it's interesting because when I coach senior executives, I'm often asked, well, what is the difference? What's the difference between teams that seem to operate with ease and just magically gel, and those that have tension and frustration and seem to struggle to keep up? And so what we know is that those teams, especially at the executive level, who achieve exceptional results with ease, they're demonstrating a core set of behaviors or habits that we call. They're demonstrating a core set, 6 habits actually, that other teams aren't. And when teams begin to really ingrain these 6 habits into their everyday and they hold themselves accountable to them and have conversation about them and actively demonstrate them, we see significant impacts to not only that team's level of engagement and candor and respect and all of that good stuff with each other, but we see results having a ripple effect across the organization. And so what are these 6 habits? Well, the first habit is building a healthy climate. A healthy climate is one that is based on trust, respect for each other's unique perspectives, unique personalities, and preferences for how we work, and based on the assumption of positive intent. When there is a healthy climate, you'll know it because there is candor in the room. There is feedback, there is respectful challenge, there's productive conflict. The absence of conflict is not a sign of a high-performing team. Actually, that's a symptom of a team that needs to lean in and challenge more productively. And a healthy climate is core to that. It's the most important aspect of a high-performing team. The second habit is building cohesion. We can't achieve exceptional results and reach for results unless we know what we're reaching for, unless we know how to reach for those results together. So a highly cohesive team is fanatically focused on where they're going and how they're going to get there. And they know every day what priorities they need to focus on. And not everything is a priority, because we know when everything is a priority, nothing is a priority. The third habit of a high-performing team is building accountability. And that includes accountability from 2 perspectives. Accountability for each individual person, showing up and owning their results, owning their mistakes for their own portfolio or department that they're responsible for, being vulnerable and sharing learning and about those mistakes or ways that they need to pivot, seeking input and advice. And then the second aspect of accountability is being accountable to that leadership team. You know you have a high-functioning team when your team shows up with a first-team mindset, where their priority is what's best for the executive team and your organization, instead of solely focusing on what's best for each of the teams that they lead. They're able to focus on what's best for the team and speak as one voice. We decided when we communicate, right? We decided this decision, not, oh, they decided, I really didn't agree with it. It was a terrible decision. No, accountability means we are united and in lockstep as a cohesive team, and we're accountable for that. The fourth habit is building on accountability, and that's that enterprise mindset. Well, when we make decisions, we're thinking about the entire organization. We're thinking about all of our stakeholders. We're able to be strategic when we think about how to break down silos and collaborate with each other in service of those that we serve. In an enterprise mindset team, silos disappear, collaboration increases, and the decision making is far more on point with where we want to go as an organization. And leaders are able to be nimble and adjust priorities in service of the whole. That ties in with the next fifth habit around change compatibility. In order to do that, in order to have an enterprise mindset, in order to be nimble, we need to be open and receptive to change as opposed to immediately resistant of it. In a change compatible team, there might be frustration and concern about change and decisions. They might immediately, for a short little while, drive to Pity City and have a pity cup of coffee, but then they'll drive back home looking for ways to make the change work in the best interest of the organization, and they will take a united one team, first team approach to communicating that change. When a team lacks change compatibility, they move to Pity City and they set up shop, focusing only on all the ways why this is a terrible change, a terrible decision, and then that gets filtered out to their team. So change compatibility creates nimbleness, responsiveness, and enables resilience and a growth mindset within the organization. Now, finally, the last habit is innovative thinking. Coming to the table, coming to the team with new ideas. It doesn't have to be a massive new product or a significant big change in how we do things. It's looking at ways to enhance how we work, how we deliver our services. I call it everyday innovation. Are we taking little risks? Are we welcoming failure for the purpose of learning and growth? Or are we afraid of failure? And we know when there are no mistakes, we're not growing. So innovative thinking is critical to tap into in your team. Now, these 6 habits combined ensure that your team is tapping into its full potential. And the first step to know that is to get a sense of where your strengths lie as a team and what 1 or 2 habits will be important for your team to strengthen right now, given where you need to go in the context in which you're working. So I invite you to download our 6 habits tool to help you assess your current state and identify 1 or 2 areas that you and your team can work with going forward. And always feel free to reach out. I would love nothing more than to chat with you about how we can support you and your team.